We had a couple sessions where she walked on. I was like, we can't work together. This is not professional. We're not a couple right now. We produce and artists. She wasn't really interested in me. Music. But charm and my possess and my swag and thing.
Basically, just learning from him. Because I would sit down and just watch him, create stuff, and it would be so amazing. Like, how do you even get that done? So amazing. And we actually have a collab.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
This collab is going to be very spicy.
Oh, spicy too.
Very spicy.
Good evening, Just D and Daai.
What's up?
It's so good to have two of y'all here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Selected Church World.
Big up from the beginning. I'm gonna ask for it. So we're gonna get up close to Just D and Daai today. So the first question, this is an interesting question. How does it feel to be the soca power couple of Barbados?
Let me tell you, somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. And believe it or not, Wifey is crazy. Like, Wifey writing songs better than me right now.
What?
She even producing. So
What?
I don't even have to tell you. But it's a great feeling, man, to be on the same page, sharing the same things we love and everything is amazing, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Plus, he's a crazy producer, so
You don't gotta tell
it
me.
goes hand in hand.
Making me blush.
You don't gotta tell me the talent crazy.
Yeah, very much so. I think
So-
he got some music put down, man. That if he was to put out all the music he has, he wouldn't have to sing anything for next 5-10 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I remember 2017, boy, that Nani song come out, yo.
Yeah, that
Self-produced?
one bad.
Self-produced.
Yeah, man. Self-produce,
That
everything. I call that my Kanye era. I was in my Kanye phase where it was just like, I just doing what I love, not listening, not worrying about DJs, none of that stuff. And
Just creating.
yeah, work. And the funny thing about that song, I sent it to my brother, and my brother sent me back a message like, yo, this song is gonna be a career-defining moment. I swear. And at the time, I was just laughing, but it was true.
To me, that cemented you though.
Yeah, man, for sure.
That was a banger.
So-
Need about 5 more of those, boy.
They're coming. I know they're coming. The direction you're going in. So, two of y'all being here, when y'all started dating, get together, get married, start a family. Justy, were you aware of the music kingdom you were creating? I didn't realize your wife was this talented.
Of course, man. When I first heard, I was like, yeah, boy, I about to be rich. We about to be rich. Yeah, but for some reason, we just clicked, and she actually hit me up about music. She wasn't really interested in me. It was music.
Professional.
Yeah, but my charm and
No, he's
my possess and my swag and thing, Yeah.
He's not putting on the extra.
Yeah. And when I heard the accent, I was like, ooh, gosh, boy. But thinking about it, if we being, serious, thinking about it, when I heard your voice, I was like, yo, she has something, and what better way than to have, a couple doing music together, I have my thing going, she has her thing going, and then together we can combine it.
Right.
And I can actually do stuff for a female artist and know that she's gonna knock it out the park. Yeah, man.
So you give it your all.
Yeah.
All that.
I don't have to shy away from anything, any notes, any topics, anything. Yeah.
How was that collaborative process like?
Well, in the beginning, I used to get upset, because I knew the potential, but I don't think at the time she knew how bad she was.
Oh, you was like the person pushing to get her to another level.
Yeah, man. 'Cause,
I used to get upset
yeah.
though.
And she was already there, but she didn't know she was there. It was like, you could do better than that,
Don't
man.
do that.
Yeah, don't
Come
do that,
be
man.
serious. Stop that. I'm like, alright, I'm not doing this to you.
Yeah. We had a couple sessions where she walked on. I was like, we can't work together. This is not professional. We're not a couple right now. We produce and artists, But, over time, we found the balance. And you know, I realized what worked for her, you know, and vice versa. And now it's easy, man. Sometimes I would just say, listen, babe, I need a melody. You know, she would give me a melody, or I need some words, and
Or backups.
or some
anything.
backups. You know, sometimes she would tell me, yo, you don't need to do nothing else with that. That is finished. And I was like, all right, that's it. So it's perfect, man.
Man, that's beautiful to hear. I wish God's blessing on y'all, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
And y'all
you.
got family. So you're here at Saint. Which country are you from?
I'm from the UK.
You're from the okay. So then you move over here.
Yeah, I moved over here for a while. Probably like 7-9 years now.
Okay. And did you ever consider singing as like a potential career prior to Just?
I actually used to sing before.
Okay.
Like around 2014. That was like with Glenn Benjamin and Minim.
Oh, Minim, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice producer.
Yeah. And I was taking it very serious at that time. But then, you know, life got the upper hand, and then I stopped. But then when Dee and I started talking, then I let him hear the first single that I put out with Minim and them.
Yeah.
You know, we laughed a little bit, you know, but it was really nice. He said, you know, you can tell when an artist is green.
First song.
Yeah, first song.
Yeah.
But we just started clicking from there, and music just started to hit off.
Awesome.
We have like so many songs put down that I've done just
Yeah.
so I could find my voice.
Yeah, we had to
That's
create
awesome.
a song. You know, we have country, there's R&B, there's a little raunchy, there's nice. You know, we just had to find what was the right direction, and I think we found it.
So you had like a full artist development
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, man.
Very much so.
So that is why this first song was so strong, because when Show Me Drop,
hmm
I was like, who's this new artist with this song? That sounds like this already. Like,
And you know what's the
Polished.
funny thing? She chose that herself. You know, like when she heard it, she was like, "Yo, this is the song." You know, I tried to go
Yeah, he was
that
like,
way.
I don't think so. I said,
Yeah.
no, I feel it in my bones. This is it.
Mhm.
And from the time we did it, because we had to change up a lot of stuff, from the time we did it, it was just like, that's it.
Yeah,
it's so catchy.
yeah,
Just did you write that one?
yeah. I did.
I
did.
can tell.
Yeah.
It was catchy though. It was really catchy for real.
Yeah, I was gonna sing it, but when I let her do the demo, I was like, sound way better than I. So
There you
yeah,
have it.
but I find she has a really great ear for like what's gonna work, and that's something that I discovered over time, and yeah, I running with it.
Definitely over
Yeah.
time.
You know?
And I think you were teasing a new song that's coming soon.
Emotions, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's Afrofusion.
Okay,
So
well,
I'm more dabbling into that market too.
Mhm.
yeah, that's a huge market, you know.
I actually got a few people hit me up about it. Have
Already?
big Nigerian artists that want to go on it and stuff like that already.
I
And it
pro-
hasn't
I pro-
even
the-
dropped fully yet.
I brought adjust these era, right? Because Afrobeats got so big in Barbados that Burna Boy's song was killing crop over.
Yeah.
Not killing in a bad way. I mean,
Right.
it was everywhere during crop over. Then we eventually booked in for crop over.
Right.
Right.
But Afrobeats is really big in Barbados, so this fusion
Mm-hmm.
is what people want to hear.
And you know, it's gonna open her up to like a whole new can of worms. You know, she doesn't have to like worry about any competitions or season. You know, she can drop
Anytime.
at any time,
Yeah.
sing about any topic, like just have fun with it. You know, so I think it's perfect that she's dabbling in the whole Afro and just going in that direction.
And you're taking your time, your career. You release one song that's really well received.
Yeah.
There's a new song coming. How are you approaching the pace of releasing music? Like, you're taking your time with it.
I wouldn't say taking my time necessarily. It's basically based on how I feel pertaining to the music that I have. Because as I said, I have more music. So depending how the music sounds to me, once it feels like it's finished, then I'll release. I can release 3 in a week if I want to. But once it feels right for me, then I would release. I'm not really giving it like a long span or a short span. It just goes based on feeling.
Taking a measured approach.
Yeah.
Okay. So Just
Mm-hmm.
is a triple threat. You could sing, you could produce, you could write songs.
Yeah, man.
So I want to talk about the producing for a little bit.
Right.
How did you get into producing music?
Well, if I have to be 100% honest, when I was coming up in the game, I couldn't afford it. So I had to learn how to do it myself. You know, and YouTube was my best friend. I was working at the time, and I took all of my money, even the lunch money, and I bought equipment,
Yeah.
you know, and I just kept going on YouTube. And I didn't want to start with a PC and then come at the ranks. I went straight for a Mac. I went straight for the GarageBand because T-Pain was using it
GarageBand.
and he was hitting at the time, you know, and funny, I was listening to songs and I was like, yo, the quality sounds so big. So then I started to like, just train my ear and to make my stuff sound big, not knowing that there was a stage called mastering, you know, that made them sound so big. So I think that's how the whole producing came about. And yeah, you know, I can't play an instrument. I mean, a
I
little
was
bit
gonna
of guitar.
ask that. Like, how did you
Yeah.
even go from not even playing instruments to producing?
Yeah, you know, it's all ear, man. And I find I have a way of, like, if I want to play some pianos, I could kind of like recreate how like a pianist would play. Probably not 100%, but probably 98.
That is what.
You know?
Really good.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Really,
man.
really.
And I have a way of like putting things together, you know, to create, you know, the magic that
You know,
people.
sometimes
yeah.
the most craziest things he would just pull out,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and like it would be like so amazing. Like, how do you even get that done?
You-
So amazing.
You had any foundation in arts or anything like that? Like, where the creativity come
Art.
from?
Well, if we're talking art, I think I got a 5. I don't know anybody. I got a 5 in art.
Mm-hmm.
You
Still
know,
a
drawing.
pass.
Still a pass.
Still a pass.
Yeah, we put it on the record.
Uh-huh.
No, I would say, actually, no and yes, because when I was coming out, I was doing like a lot of what you would call it, theater stuff in primary school. But from as young as I knew myself, I was always trying to write lyrics. I was always changing lyrics from Beanie Man and them guys and putting my own lyrics and singing it in front of the
You gotta sing
class.
songs.
Yeah, you know, I was always that way. You know, my father had a typewriter, and I would every day would be clack 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 clack, just writing music, bam bam. You know, so I think it's something that I born with. It was just in me. You know, I never wanted to be no doctor, no lawyer, no nothing.
Oh, you knew.
Yeah, I knew. I just wanted to do music. You know, it was part of me wanted to do track, but it was either track or music. So I chose music, and I decided when I get older, I would do track and field the masters or something.
And Jesse was saying earlier that you produce as well, did?
Yes, I started doing my own little thing, dabbling here and there,
That's cool.
because I just watch.
I've noticed there are like a slow increase in female producers in Barbados. I see Sherry Ann, the gospel singer, in the studio producing something recently.
Okay.
So how is it like for you?
Well, I just go from what I hear. So basically just learning from him. Because I would sit down and just watch him, you know, create stuff and say, okay, so that's how he does that. Very cool. So sometimes when he would leave the studio, I say, okay, leave Logic open for me and let me just dabble into some stuff. And when he came back to the studio, he was like, that sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a work in progress, but because of the ear that I have, like from years back, my mom and I always used to, like when songs would come out, we would always have this thing where we'd be like, this is gonna be big. And weirdly enough, it used to be big.
Right.
So I've always had that because my entire family is based in music. Like my mom can sing, my aunts, my cousins, they've all been, you know, in bands and stuff like that. My mom's been in the industry where she would hold events with the reggae and stuff. So my entire family's been through music.
Yeah, that's someone really entrenched in music, boy. All
Definitely.
kind of genres too.
Oh.
So in terms of the singing and the writing, how did you get into that, Jess?
Again, you know, that was just in me. You know, before I wanted to be an R&B singer and a rapper. You know, I used to be a big Ja Rule fan. You know,
You got big tunes.
yeah, big Ja Rule fan. But you know, I realized in Barbados that wasn't working, and you know, I wasn't a big fan of soca music. You know, I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But
Right.
then I discovered Rupi, and I had like his style. You know, he was on the line, soca but commercial. You know, so I literally like studied him, and you know, I put out a song. I kind of watched what he was doing, what he was putting out, and I kind of like carbon copy it in a way with a slight change, and I put out the record, and I got a couple play, and I met a couple people, and I met his touring DJ at the time, Alvin Toppin. So, you know, I had this crazy idea. My song wasn't big. Maybe if I sent it to Rupi and he sing it, it would get big. You know, so I sent the song through Alvin Toppin and he liked it. But in soca, it wasn't common for artists to
Right, songs for the artist.
Yeah,
Really?
that had been put out before.
Mm.
You know, like how with R&B, you would get a sample of a song
Like a
and keep
demo.
going on. Yeah, but I mean, like you would put out a song, and then a Chris Brown would come and do a version of that song, and then a Mario probably would come and do a version, and it would keep going on and on. That wasn't common in soca. But so you know, at the same time, he got some rhythms and he sent them to me. He was like, "Man, you know, let me see what you could do, man. Give it a shot." You know, and I wrote 2 songs, and he took one, and that was the first time like that I actually wrote a song for an artist. You know, after that, you know, the
It was groupie.
phone,
And
and it was
Rupee
Rupee,
too.
yeah.
First
know.
time.
And
That
I
says
was,
a lot.
I was in my head. I was big boy. This Rupee billboard, 10 to the touch. Yo, nobody can't tell me nothing. You know, but you know the calls started coming in from there. Met Chris Allman, my brother, and my mentor, and from there that's how it, you know, the whole writing came about.
That's amazing though. And like you worked with someone that you looked up to.
Yeah, man, for sure. And he took the song, he put out the song, promoted the song, and we didn't meet till like a year after or a year and a half after, you know? Yeah.
That's why you know it's a genuine
Yeah,
link.
for sure. Sure.
But Just Use amazed me though. Like I'm glad to be on your email list. Like every year I just get your rhythms and your songs. I just be like, just you're working with this artist and that artist for this country and that country. Like you really made connections over the years.
Yeah, man, for
Like,
sure.
like what was it like being in school, seeing these artists perform or release music to be working and then be working with them?
I tell you, man, I mean, it's a surreal feeling, you know, to this day. Like, I remember when I worked with Alison Hines, and Alison told me, I wanted to work with you ever since.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. And I was in the studio with her, and Alison was like, you tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm in the booth now. And I recorded, and my foot on the chair was shaking. Like, yeah, boy. So, I mean,
has that effect.
it's a surreal feeling, you know, but, you know, I always told myself, like, yeah, I need to get to this level. I need to work with these type of people. Like, I have to figure out a way, you know, to do it. And God has blessed me that I just find myself in rooms, in the right rooms, amongst the right people. You know, like, it's crazy, man. It's non-explainable when you think about it.
And you had mentioned earlier for a bit you have went to Trinidad Carnival this year.
Yeah, man. I did 2 shows over there. I did a show called Justice too, and then the biggest breakfast party in the East in Arima called Addiction. It's actually Sherwin Winchester's party. Another legend.
Yes,
You know?
that you worked with on the baddest rhythm.
Yeah, man.
New rhythm.
So, you know, we were going all over the place. You know, I was able to do some interviews on Slam, on Vibe, you know, pop into some of the parties, you know, hail up some of the artists. Actually, some of the artists say, yo, send me some material, you know. So that was a great experience, man, you know. For me, it's out of sight, out of mind, you know. So I would say for any artist, don't go into hiding too long. You know, sometimes you just need to go and be around what's going on. You never know what's going to happen.
Trinidad always had strong soca music, but I found this year was particularly strong.
Yeah, man.
A lot of songs were close.
Like, the groove was nice, the pace was nice. And, you know, everybody just trying to raise the bar. You know, everybody looking for the next best thing. And as creatives, that's what we need to do. You know, as a writer, you know, I could come and write the same thing over and over, but when people say they have writer's block, I don't believe it's writer's block. I believe you're just looking for that next thing, you know, that thing that you haven't done before. That's all it is. So, like, it's all about raising the bar, and that's what we need to do. If you hear the music that we're gonna drop this year, you're gonna tell yourself, yo, these men gone mad.
Yeah,
You know?
just see the heat in my head. Because the next question now,
Yeah.
this is a big question now. For October 2025 is coming.
Yeah.
I find ever since the restrictions got lifted from COVID, every crop over getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So I got a good feeling about this year. So behind the scenes, what can you share about what you guys working on?
You wanna go?
Well, we have a few soca songs to drop.
Few.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
And we actually have a collab.
Ooh, exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
This collab is gonna be very spicy.
Oh, spicy too.
Very spicy.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. People are asking for it.
Yes,
You
of
know?
course.
People just asking.
And certain questions that people would ask us, I think this song would align with it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. But apart from that, you know, like me personally, like I feel like I want to do like 10 songs.
Release.
Yeah, I have so many songs that just sitting there,
Right.
you know. What if he's always like,
So many.
yo, you forget about this one. What about this one? This one in that. So it's like, all right, I just need to get them out.
Just see, I can selfishly say it. Just start early.
You know, I've
Spread
already
them out.
started.
Spread
You
them
know,
out. Spread them out. Get them space.
there's Roll on the baddest rhythm. You know, it's part Trini, part Barbados.
You got 2 songs on that rhythm.
There's I'm happy we broke up. You know, just a different idea I had in my head, so I just put it down.
Yeah.
You know, put up both.
Now,
First
the
time I ever did
cartel
that.
style, you know. You got 2
Exactly.
songs, release them still.
Yeah, and I wrote the Sherwin on the rhythm, you know. And then we have No, you know, which is an up tempo, different, you know. When a woman said no, it is no. And that's just the bottom line.
Facts.
And you know, after that, there's so many other songs that I'm prepared to drop. Like I'm ready to go like tomorrow. Yeah.
And what's the feeling that you have for this year that coming?
The feeling, you know, my love is groove. You know, 105, 107, 110. That's where my heart is, the sweet spot. And I not worrying about what I think is gonna work and what I think people are gonna play and like. I'm gonna just do, you know, what I want to do. You know, back in my Kanye West mentality, just do what I want to do, put out
Right.
the best of me, but try to make it as undeniable as possible. You know, and wherever it goes and ends up, that's where it's supposed to be.
It's interesting you mentioned groove because a lot of agents are loving that young brother.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, for sure.
And the word on the road is that a lot of artists been trying to follow that direction.
Yeah,
That's the word on the street.
I feel like that too. But I mean, every year we put out some really good group songs.
Yeah.
You know, all we need is the support from everybody in the industry. You know, artists need to support the DJs need to support the artists, promoters support us, we support them, you know, and we push this thing. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna benefit everybody. You know, when the music break out, people gonna come to Barbados for the show, so the promoters benefiting. They might have more shows, so the DJs benefiting. So you know, we just need to come together more and really just push each other. You know, it's as simple as that.
So we touched on it prior to the interview starting, but how can Barbados as a whole make crossover even bigger and better, especially for the artists? Especially you have so much years in the game already.
Right. It all boils down for me to support. You know,
Support.
everybody needs support. We can't do it alone. You know, we could put up a song, but if we don't have any listeners or anybody,
There's only so much.
you know,
part
yeah,
to go.
anybody reposting it or sharing it, you know, we can't blow. The same way, you know, they're gonna share the American artists and the dancehall artists,
Yeah.
you know, do the same thing for us. You know, we love music. We want to make y'all happy. We want to de-stress y'all from y'all life and work, and we can't help it. Like we can't help but put out music. We just can't help it.
It's
You know,
part of us.
we love to see when you in effect singing. You know, your boss stressing you out, your husband or your wife stressing you out. You know, and our music helping you de-stress and taking you away from that. That's what we want to do. You know, so just support us and yeah. You know, if you want free music, just message me and send the music free.
Look,
Give it all away.
artists.
I do it.
Wanna hear what just said? That is a big.
Yeah, if you want the music, just link me. I'm happy to send it to you free. Yeah, just give it away. If I have to, just give it all away.
Just got me here speechless now
Yeah,
because we do have the talent, we do have the potential here,
yeah, we do.
but the support, as you said, you know.
Yeah, and I know we small-ish. You know, only 200 and probably 87,000 people. We still smallish, but you know,
We can still do a
we
lot
can
of
still do a lot of damage. You know, you gotta start somewhere. Have to start somewhere.
I also wonder too, the Soca Monarch show had ended in Barbados a couple of years back. I think that's primarily because of COVID,
Right.
and they've been trying to get it back started. I think there's going to be some version of it this year for the first time in a long time.
Right.
Like, what is your thoughts on having a Soca Monarch? Like, how important is that to the musical landscape?
Well, for me, it has its place. Everything has its place. You know, I'm not big on competition. I'm mostly in competition with myself because I judge myself the hardest and always trying to outdo my current self. But you know, there are some people that will benefit from having a competition. You know, everybody's not fortunate enough to know the ropes in the game or have the links, you know, to get the extra push or visibility. So that's where the competition might come in. You know, and then I guess is a part of the soca culture, you know, having a competition, as some
Yeah.
people will miss it.
Yeah.
When I was young, I used to go East Coast all the time,
Mhm.
you know, and go in the hills. I love going East Coast and seeing, I wonder what Lil Rick can do this time, you know, what Peter Ramen come with, you know. So I think it has its place. I'm not against it. I'm for everything. Wants people happy. Wants the people happy. I'm for everything.
Mhm.
That's my stance.
Okay. And there,
Yes, please.
in terms of this crop over, you plan to be in more stages. Like, what was your approach going forward?
Um, whatever comes to me is supposed to be for me. That's
Okay.
how I look at it. Last year was crazy.
Mhm.
I really just dropped that song last year because I loved it. But
Yeah.
the response I got from it, going to Soca State of Mind, people singing my music, traveling for it, it was just beyond what I expected. So this year, I'm just bringing out music that I love because once I put my love into it, people will love it. So that's how I'm going forward with it.
Wait, was that your first official release? Like,
Yes, it was.
ever?
Mhm.
So how is it like going to events and hearing people sing the lyrics to your song?
That was crazy. I felt like I wanted to cry. That was at Soca State of Mind, and that day was the day that I was super nervous because it was a big stage with a lot of people because it was at Kensington, and I kept asking, like I asked Nikita, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Like, what to do?" She's like, "You can be good. You can be good. Just go out there, sing your song." And when I got up on stage, and before I even started singing,
Mhm.
and the instrumental came on, people were just dancing in the crowd. And then when I started to sing, I saw people in the crowd singing the words. I was like, wow, that was crazy. As for my first time bringing out a song, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. So you feel pressure now with the second song coming?
Not really. No,
Mm.
I don't get pressured easily.
Okay.
I like the challenge.
So you're looking forward to releasing it then?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I like the
Everything
challenge.
she said. She did well, man. I mean, for a first time, she did
A lot.
super great. She did a lot.
Yeah.
A
You know,
lot
she
of
went
things.
St. Vincent, you know, perform. Like who a lot of people don't do that to like what third year, fourth year.
Yeah.
You know, to do all that on your first year, and you know, do it, you know, so confidently. Gotta give her props. Gotta give her props.
And people didn't even want me to leave in St. Vincent.
They embrace you.
It was crazy. They didn't want me to, from the time I touched St. Vincent and we went to like for certain spots first.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to leave. When I started performing, then that was another thing. Like they had artists coming to me. The guy that sang the song, "Do You Miss Me?" I'm sitting on my toilet. "Do you
Yeah.
miss me?" He was like, "I gotta do a song with you."
You're
Like,
joking.
nah,
man.
it was crazy.
Jeez, someone Dominica represent.
It was crazy.
So you had an amazing 2024. 2024 is about to start. What's like the long term goal, the long term vision? Do you just want to be an artist on stage, or do you want to be like a Timbaland producer known across the Caribbean?
I kind of feel like I semi known across the Caribbean, you know. But yeah, you know, I just wanna push the limit, man. Probably hit the K-pop market, you know, just experience something different. Just push the limit of music. You know, I love UK music, you know, drill and dubstep and drum and bass.
Nice place to sit.
The dubstep, the drum and bass, you know, like I just like, you know, the different fusions of instruments and the movements. Yeah, so you know, I might just head over there as well and like, you know, rub some shoulders with some of those artists over there and yeah, see where it ends up, man.
Okay. And I also want to know what you've infused a lot of music in your career through the years, Afrobeats especially. Where did the mindset come to? Don't just stick to what we know of soca and the sound of soca that we know,
Right.
and to explore other
What-
genres.
Well, I think what happened was because I wasn't really the biggest soca lover in the beginning, you know, it was Chris' idea, Chris Almond's idea to do soca. And his words were, but just do it your way. You know, from the time he said that, I was like, all right, I'm going full left. You know, so that's what I did. I just found a way to make it that it could play in a soca segment, but after the season or whatever, it could still, you know, travel. So I might be using,
That's brilliant.
yeah, you know, I might be using soca drums with an R&B melody on top and a EDM synth in the background and a dancehall bass thing. You know, so I have a couple DJs always say like, yo, just what genre is this? And it's like, wherever you see fit, put it.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, man.
I get to know you on a different level this time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
And especially meet your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So where the kitty is? The kitty at school?
Yes, yes.
How's that like raising a little one?
It's nice. It's really different.
Mm.
You know, it's very different because that's a whole other personality, or I should say, that's a upgraded personality. Her personality
And yours.
and my personality.
That's another fusion.
Yeah. So looking at her, it's like, this always get on with you.
Mm.
Okay, I see what she's be talking about. You know.
Mm.
So
The
yeah.
crazy thing is that she actually loves music too.
I was gonna ask. Like, I think it's gonna be inevitable that
She
she's gonna
loves
be.
music. She gave her dad a melody the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna post the video. I got a rhythm from an artist and I was playing it in the car and she just started with a melody. I was like, I love this though, Willow. So I was like, yo, Willow, let me record this. And she stopped, I recorded her and she gave me the whole melody and the time in.
On
Wow.
point, everything.
So nice. And I'm using it. I'm gonna use it and I'm gonna sign her up and I'm gonna credit her and everything.
Oh shoot.
She's probably gonna be the youngest soca, I don't know, writer or whatever. Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. Well, we look forward to hearing that.
Yes.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure.
Thank you, Jess.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dave.
you.
Select the charts. We signing out.
The biggest, the baddest.
The maddest.
Oh.